So I asked friends and family to ask me questions on Instagram about my birth experience, how I came up with Lila's name, how my pregnancy went. But I got a lot of the same questions. I got a couple asking about my birth experience, and then I got a couple asking about how we came up with Lila's name. So I was in Florida with Nick's mom. He stayed in Oregon so he could use his PTO for when she got here. So we were going back and forth about names, and he had a couple other names that started with L, and I didn't like them at all because they were like too common. And then he also texted me Lula, and I was like, I kind of like that, being the stubborn person that I am. And then once I got home, I told him, I was like, I actually do like that a lot. And I think we just kind of stuck with it. And then I came up with her middle name, which is Blue. B-L-U, not B-L-U-E. But yeah, we think her name suits her very well. She's a beautiful baby, and we are blessed. Next question I got is, how do you feel about being a first-time mom? What were you most scared of? I was really nervous. I was scared, especially how I was bringing her into the world. How I feel about being a first-time mom, I feel amazing. I love every single minute of it. I'm obsessed with my kid. I don't like sharing her with anybody. I love her with everything I absolutely have. A first-time mom is learning how to care for another human being other than myself, especially such a small, tiny person that is so dependent on you. I'm just getting teary-eyed. How was the experience of a C-section? So my experience was terrifying. Was still head up, which by at least 32 weeks, your baby should already be head down. And she wasn't head down at 32 weeks, and I was kind of worried about it, but also had faith that she would turn. But she didn't turn. So my doctor suggested an ECV to be done, which is an eversion. That was the most painful thing I have ever experienced in my entire life. Like, if you're going in to do it and your doctor says that you can't have any kind of medication at all, don't do it. They gave me something to calm my uterus down. She was stubborn and didn't want to turn, and I had two doctors doing it at the same time, and it just hurt really bad. I do not recommend getting it done. If you can get it done medicated, if you can't, then I wouldn't suggest it at all. I just wanted to experience labor pain and pushing, but I'm actually thankful I gave birth to her the way that I did. Did you cry when you saw your baby girl? I cried when I heard her cry. I wasn't sobbing, I just had like a couple tears here and there.
It's messed up.
It was happy tears, obviously. I was just happy to know that she was okay and that she was breathing, because I was super scared that something bad was just gonna happen. And I think that's just another part of the anxiety that I was having leading up to the C-section. After getting the ECV done and it wasn't successful, my doctor held my hand for a good 5 minutes, talked to me, and she was like, I'm sorry, this happens, it's okay. It just wasn't meant to be, blah, blah, blah. And then she said, at my next appointment, we will schedule the C-section. And I just said, okay, we gotta do what we gotta do. So we went to my next appointment. We scheduled the C-section, which was scheduled for December 17th, 2019. Or we were supposed to have it done at 9:45 in the morning. So we had to be there 2 hours prior to that. And we ended up having to wait until like 12:30 to even start the procedure because one of the doctors was busy downstairs in the hospital. So, as you can imagine, going in for your first surgery, nervous already, and then being told you have to wait. It was kind of good. Like, I feel like I got more time to think about it and be okay and calm my nerves, which is another reason why I'm kind of thankful for that doctor taking so long. So leading up to the procedure, I was just talking with my mom and Nick the whole time. Obviously I was crying here and there. I was just nervous, super scared. And then once I actually got ready to go into the room, they have you walk down the hall and go into the surgery room, and then they sit you have to sit on the table, and then the anesthesiologist will give you a spinal block, which is kind of like an epidural, but I think a little bit stronger, and it numbs you from the boobs down instead of the waist down. So I was holding the nurse's hands and leaning on their shoulders while the anesthesiologist put that in my back. And then it literally kicks in within seconds. Literally, he said, you're gonna feel like a warmth wave going down your body. And it's literally, you feel it like, you can feel it so much in your legs too. Like, everything just starts to get heavy. And then he told me as soon as I feel it, I need to start to lay down. So I told them I was starting to feel it. They laid me down. And then the nurse told me that she's gonna put a catheter in. So she did that, and I just remember them like having to push my legs up for me, obviously because I couldn't move them. So they inserted the catheter, and then I think they started cutting me open right after they did that. And then they brought Nick and my mom into the room. And yes, I got my mom in there. I got 2 people in there, which I was so thankful for because I didn't want to do it without my mom. If that were the case, I would have sucked it up. Knowing that my mom and Nick could both be in there, it made me feel a little bit more comfortable. I was in and out of the operating room in 45 minutes. My doctor didn't put staples inside of me. She sewed me up from the inside, and then she super glued the outside. And yeah, so having a C-section isn't as scary as it seems. Everybody talks you through it. Like, my doctor and the other doctor that was in there, they were having a completely different conversation. Like, it was no big deal. Just another day at work, cutting somebody open. It was a cool experience. It was a scary experience, but cool experience at the same time. The only thing that sucked about the C-section process was the healing. I didn't get to get up and walk around. Nick had to change the baby's diapers for the first couple days. Like, the first 2 days we were in the hospital, I couldn't get up out of bed without being in excruciating pain. So, like, Nick got to see her first, hold her first, change her first diaper, all that stuff. And then they laid her on my chest for like 10 minutes while the doctors were sewing me up. It was kind of hard to hold her because I'm laying completely flat on my back. And I just remember having like a sharp pain in my shoulder once I was holding her. And I don't know if I told Nick this, but I really was gonna ask somebody to take her back because I just felt like I wasn't holding her securely enough. And that pain in my shoulder was hurting so bad. But I kind of sucked it up, and I didn't want to miss out on that experience, so I just stayed quiet and I didn't say anything. Somebody said, "When are you having another cute baby?" I told Nick that I want to have at least one more kid, especially because we do make cute babies. Like this little angel is literally the cutest thing in the whole world. And I think 3 kids would be cool, like 2 girls and a boy. I think that would be really cool. But even if we got like just if we had one more kid and it was a boy, that would be perfect for me. Anyways, having a C-section isn't scary. It is scary, but it's not scary. Just comment down below what your questions are, and I can answer them there, or I can make another video getting more into detail about everything. Yeah, so I think that's the end of this video, and I'm sure I'll have more out there soon once I get time. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Oh, my eyes are watering so bad. If you guys have any more questions or anything about what I talked about in this video, feel free to comment down below. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye guys.